got to stand up and dance for that one, huh? Hey guys, what's going on? I just got to check out Brett doing a mean, funky little groove over there.
I play a little ditty on our.
Whoa!
Oh,
We don't play no ditties, dude.
Shit,
Come on.
Fuck. Shit.
You can't put this one on YouTube.
God damn it! I played a little
Jingle.
I play a little jingle, is what I meant to say. Apologies. I play a little jingle on our pod track to like cue us up for when we go, and I'm standing for this one because this chair was hurting my ass. So I did a little dance to the jingle. I didn't expect him to call it out.
Nah, dude, it was a good dance. I wish we did have film recording so people could see your funky moves.
One day.
But anyways, guys, what's going on? We're back in the saddle with another movie review. Pretty excited about this motherfucker right here. Brett.
He's getting pumped up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, be hype. But Brett, how you doing? Doing good?
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back.
No doubt.
I'm very glad to be back. I hate it when we're away.
I know. It's like, it's one of them things, like, once you get in the saddle, it's not a problem, but then, like, whenever you take a break.
Just the idea of, like, getting back into it. No, I completely understand.
It's like when you take a vacation from work, the longer you stay away, the harder it is to come back.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
That's why we can't be staying away from the pod. But anyways.
We have to surpass season 1 in episodes.
Yes. Okay. Oof, that's going to be tough.
We have a month and a half to make. So this is going to be 2. So that's going to bring us up to 13. So we would need 5 more episodes before January 1st to tie with season 1. So we would need 6 episodes between now and January 1st to surpass season 1 in episodes.
We might be able to do it. We'll try.
Which is crazy because like we split every episode into like we were on some shit.
Yeah.
In 2022, we were cranking those things out like it was nobody's business.
We dedicated a lot to it. We need to get back into that.
You get into that 2022 headspace. We become too complacent.
We'll do better. We promise. What brings us here today is a great movie. A movie that is relevant because the sequel comes out next Friday.
Yes.
The sequel is Gladiator 2, whereas we reviewed 2000's Gladiator.
Oh, what? Fuck, man. I thought you meant Wicked. Dude, I watched The Wizard of Oz. Shit.
That's not a sequel, is it?
No, it's a prequel.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like I mean, prequels are almost like it's still technically like the second movie in the series.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Did you ever watch? We're going down a rabbit hole here. Did you ever watch Oz the Great and Powerful?
I did, and
with James Franco?
You know what? I remember really liking it when I was younger.
You want to know something? Me and you are real ones because I fucking like that movie too.
I remember really liking that movie.
I think that came out like 2012, maybe.
I think so, dude. That was like proto Wonka. That was like almost Wonka.
You know who directed that?
No.
Sam Raimi.
Fucking really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I didn't know it at the time, and now it makes sense why I actually liked it because there was something off about it, something kind of corny and goofy.
Yeah, I want to watch it again, maybe just see if it still holds up. But I remember enjoying it.
See, you're around my sister Aubrey's age, and I can remember taking her and Megan, my youngest of my sisters, to go see that. Like they were young then, And how old were you in 2012? I think that's when that came out.
Dude, that movie is like crazy because no one ever fucking talks about it.
No,
you're the first person I've ever heard talk about it since I've seen it. Also, in
2013, I was 1 year old.
2013, I was 10.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah, directed by Sam Raimi. That is crazy.
Take it with a grain of salt. 10-year-old Brett thought that movie fucking slapped.
Hey, like I said though, I enjoyed it too, man. I did not think it was bad.
I couldn't tell you anything that happens in it other than James Franco is there. But
yeah, I don't remember a lot about it.
But I remember liking it.
Anyways, so back to what brought us together today. We are here to review 2000's Gladiator, directed by Sir Ridley Scott, starring.
Is he? Is he a knight?
Yes, he is.
Oh
he
shit!
Is one of those.
Why did they do that?
Who else is one of them? Ian McKellen is.
Patrick Stewart.
Oh, is he? Wow.
Yeah, Sir Patrick Stewart. Wait, that's like the one.
Dude, like that's so fucking badass that Magneto,
two X-Men,
and Professor X.
What do they do? Like, what does that even mean, really? To get knighted? They just do it to like. Yeah, is that their Hollywood star of fame? Is that like what?
Some of that British shit. I don't know.
It's like that movie was so good. You're gonna serve on the Royal Guard.
like they're both like.
I'm gonna what?
We're old.
It's like I'm an actor.
We're old, isn't it? But anyways,
Yeah, that's how they talk.
yeah, they want to like eat anything with beans on it, cold. Anyways, this film stars Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, Connie Nielsen, Richard Harris, and Djimon Hounsou, along with others.
Where was Richard Harris?
He was Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him.
Yeah,
Richard Harris, he did a lot of Westerns. He's over there, isn't he? I'm thinking of the right guy.
No, you're thinking of Ed Harris.
Fuck, yeah, I am. That's why I didn't recognize him, because it's not that guy.
Yeah, he's not that guy.
He's not that guy.
Yeah, Richard Harris, he was an older actor, though, obviously. You want to know something really crazy? He is in that fucking movie.
Is he? That's
but
crazy.
You were
but
thinking
I'm
of
thinking
Ed
of Ed
Harris.
Harris.
Yes.
I absolutely am.
Yes, but that's so funny. But anyways,
That would have been even funnier, because if you had remembered that, you would have said yes.
Maybe that's why you thought that, because his name's on that poster over there.
Richard Harris is?
Yes.
Oh. Is Ed Harris in that movie?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. Well then, okay. I see the issue.
Well, maybe we need to go all the way back around, and you were right.
I mean, technically, but not in... I got the right answer through the wrong methods.
You knew what you were talking about, and I stand by that.
I did. That's the problem.
Anyways.
I was right on accident.
That's still better than being wrong. This movie was budgeted, as many of Ridley Scott's films are. This movie was budgeted for $103 million. Not many of them budgeted for that, but he spares no expense.
Every Ridley Scott movie is exactly $103 million.
No dollar more, no dollar less. The gross worldwide profit was $465 million, so it made some money. This film was scored by one of the GOATs, Hans Zimmer. You may also know Hans Zimmer for several films. I know he got a lot of clout for Interstellar with Christopher Nolan. He also did, let me look it up real quick. He did Dune.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, both of the Dune movies. He also did Top Gun Maverick more recently. A lot of people love that movie.
I need to watch that one.
Yeah,
I need to watch the original Top Gun.
I don't really care for the... Might offend some people here. Cover your ears. I don't really care for the original Top Gun.
It insists upon itself.
He did a lot of really good shit. I'm not gonna go all the way through all this, but anyways, this movie is about a gladiator. In case you didn't put that together,
that's the name of the movie.
I'm really reeling here. I don't pull up the plot. A former Roman general sets out to exact vengeance against the corrupt emperor who murdered his family and sent him into slavery. Russell Crowe plays the titular gladiator. His name is Maximus, and he serves as first general underneath Emperor Marcus Aurelius at the end of the Germanian Wars. Played by Richard Harris. His son, portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix, is Commodus. He ends up out of a fit of rage and jealousy when finding out that he's not going to be bestowed the empire by his father in his dying years, kills his father, and then accuses Maximus of... What's the word I'm looking for here? Treachery.
Like, yeah.
Not treachery, that's the wrong word.
I mean, yeah, kind of treachery. Treason?
Treason, yes. Yeah. Yes, he's treasonous against the crown and the empire. Sentences him to death and also kills his wife and son.
Out of pocket. No reason, man.
Yeah.
They are light years away.
So as this movie progresses, Maximus, spoiler alert, doesn't die. He goes through slavery into the gladiatorial arenas to work his way back to the Roman Empire to get closer to Commodus. And this is just your classic revenge story, which I've said several times on the pod. You can't go wrong with a good revenge tale.
No.
It's tried and true formula. All of my favorite movies are like revenge movies. Kill Bill is one of my favorite revenge movies, and that's all. Or my favorite movies in general, and that's all it is a revenge movie.
It's a strong motivator. It's like you just like can instantly get behind revenge.
It is
It is very easy to get behind revenge.
Like, it makes it so much simpler for you to support a protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you know they've been dealt wrong. And boy, oh boy, does Maximus get fucked in this movie.
So wrong.
But let's start there. We already talked about the plot. Moving through some of the other little things that we got wrote down here. The setting, set design. How many actual like sword and sandal type movies have you seen?
Just this one and like the first half of 300.
Yeah, because there's not a ton of them. But I think this movie is, whenever people think of a sword and sandal type, this is like at the top of everybody's list. Rightfully so. This movie goes all out with like live action sets.
Yeah, a lot of it looks fantastic.
Yes.
Most of the locations look really good. I will say the sky looks really weird in a lot of scenes. That's a big thing I noticed in this movie, is that the sky always looks fake, but everything else, like the structures, like if you told me that they built, maybe they did. If you told me that they like built a replica of the Colosseum,
yeah,
I would believe you. Like just like full scale.
I don't think they built a true to size replica of Colosseum, but I do know they constructed a lot of live physical buildings and sets to shoot on. And then one thing I do think this film benefits from, now, like you said with the sky, some of it, may look kind of goofy. And I remember you pointing out, like, whenever it shows like the big soaring shots of Rome as the sun rises or whatever.
These fake ass birds.
Yeah, you see the fake birds flying.
Those birds look like shit.
Well, I feel in general though, those scenes still look like it's such a large scale that you can't say, "Oh, that looks like shit."
No. You're still taking in.
Ridley Scott, known for just going all out with these type of things too. I know when we did our review of Alien,
one of my biggest praises was the set design.
Me too. Like, I love that world. Mm-hmm. That is such an awesome sci-fi world. And you want to talk about, like, we both have talked about how Blade Runner is a fucking snooze fest. Like, I cannot get into it, but I love the cyberpunk aesthetic, and that movie did so much for that genre, that aesthetic, that look, that type of feel. And Ridley Scott is really good at nailing that stuff, surrounding himself with people that know what he wants, and this is like top of the line. And this kind of fluctuates into characters, but like we'll like smooth it over into character design. I know as soon as we turn this shit on, like,
you want to talk about shit on?
Yeah.
Maximus has that shit on, dude.
Yeah. Everybody's costume design is just peak in this movie. Brett was like sold from the opening sequence.
Maximus's general armor with the wolf pelt is like one of the sickest armor sets. Like, if I want to wear that in a video game so fucking bad.
Right. And the way that they're introduced at the beginning, that whole fight sequence is really cool because, you could, like I said, he spent a lot of money. You know how many extras were on scene in that?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
So many people.
And they were just like shooting real ass arrows.
Yes. Yeah. It was awesome.
Ridley Scott's one of those directors like with Christopher Nolan that like they will not, if they can do it practically, they fucking will.
Right.
And they will fight for it.
I saw something the other day about, and I've never seen the movie Interstellar, but I really want to, for the sequence in that movie. My mistake. For that sequence in the movie where they're driving through a cornfield, Christopher Nolan had that cornfield constructed. Like, he bought a bunch of corn, planted all the corn, used it for these filming sequences, and then afterwards they shucked it all and sold it all.
No, I do remember that. You told me about that. Yeah. Because I've also never seen Interstellar.
I would. That's one on my list. I really want to watch that because I love Matthew McConaughey too.
But I remember when Oppenheimer was coming out, and all the jokes on Twitter, they were like, "Can't wait for Christopher Nolan to drop an actual nuclear bomb just so that he can get this shot for Oppenheimer."
Yeah. But before we move forward with anything else, as far as characters go, we need to talk just a little bit about Russell Crowe. And you pointed this out also right at the beginning. Like, not only is he dripping, but Russell Crowe is such a great everyman.
Dude, he's just got so much, like, just natural sauce to him.
Yeah, like, he's not imposing physically. He's kind of an older guy, but there's just something about the way he carries himself, and especially portraying the character of Maximus. And you see that throughout the film too. People rally behind him.
Yeah.
He's a natural leader.
It's just so hard to like describe, but it's just like he just oozes that just like swag.
Charisma.
Yeah,
Man, he's got charisma.
Russell Crowe has genuine riz. Like
Yeah.
he's not like super veiny jacked. He's not, there's no jawline. But like he's when he does something cool, you're like, that's the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. And when he talks, you're just like, damn straight.
Yeah. He has like such a great distinct voice,
and it's in every movie. It's in it, like even in The Nice Guys.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
He just brings it to every role that he's in.
You know, there's this other movie that I really love that Russell Crowe's in. It's like a noir film called L.A. Confidential. Wonder where L.A. Noir got their ideas from. And he's the main character in this movie. He's like a Los Angeles detective, and he's so good in that movie too. That's on our list. I'm going to put that on our list. If anybody wasn't wondering, I'm a big LA Noire video game fan. But yeah, and I just want to say in general, I think a lot of the characters are great in this movie. The supporting cast is really good.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix crushes it as being the most piece of shit dislikable person you can imagine.
Just such a sniveling little piece of garbage.
Egotistical. He's a coward, but doesn't know how to admit it or deal with it. And he's also a freak. He
super freak.
This movie kind of put him on the map,
and no one wants to match it. No one is down to match. His
Nobody
freak
wants to
in
match
this
his
movie.
freak. This movie also kind of put Joaquin Phoenix on the map, moving forward for bigger like leading roles. He went on to play Johnny Cash in the biopic about Johnny Cash called Walk the Line. He also had, I'm gonna have to look it up, but he had a couple other great leading roles, and even later, as we talked about recently, Joker, the first film anyway.
You ever
he was
watch
awesome
Her?
in that. No, but that's another one. Like, didn't that win Best Picture? Or he won like Best Actor, Best Lead Actor?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is a powerhouse, and he put his name on the map in this movie back in 2000.
I think that, like, other than Johnny Cash, he just like typecasts himself as like fucking weirdos.
He was in another Ridley Scott movie, Napoleon, played the titular character in that. Yeah, he's really good at being a freak.
Dude, I told Hunter this. I was under the impression... So the only other two Joaquin Phoenix movies I've seen have been Joker, both Jokers, and then Beau's Afraid, which is a movie I did not like.
Yeah, I would not be interested.
But I was under the impression that, like, Joaquin Phoenix was, like, doing a voice. But then in like, Gladiator, which I would... like assume that he would be treating as more like a serious role where he wouldn't be doing that. He just still sounds like that. Like Joaquin Phoenix just talks like that. And I just feel like he has a very distinct like pattern of speech and just like the way his voice sounds.
Wow, dude. Have you ever seen Brother Bear?
Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix is in Brother Bear?
He does the voice of Kenai in Brother Bear.
I don't remember their...
I don't know if that's the bear or the human.
I don't remember their names.
I don't either.
But that movie was my shit as a kid. I ran the fuck out of that VHS. I love Brother Bear.
Well, he was in it.
Brother Bear. I feel like I feel like when I was a kid, I was into a bunch of shit like no one knew about. Like no one knew about Sly Cooper. I never had met anyone that gave a shit about Brother Bear.
Brother Bear was like right in that cutoff year for me, where like my favorite like Disney animated movies that nobody gave a shit about came out, like Treasure Planet and Atlantis.
That is true. Brother Bear is in that lineup.
Yeah. But anyways, Connie Nielsen as Lucilla, I think she's great too. Oliver Reed, this is a name I didn't write down, but Oliver Reed is Proximo.
Dude, I really liked his character.
Yeah, he also had the charisma, dude.
Yeah, Proximo was cool.
He was,
other than being a slave owner, that wasn't cool.
Yeah,
but
he was basically like...
his performance was sick.
Yeah, he wheels and deals the whole movie, basically, between owning gladiators and slaves and different stuff. Like, he's introduced as wanting to beat somebody's ass that sold him giraffes that won't mate.
Yeah.
And it's a really funny sequence.
You sold me queer giraffes.
And he like grabs him by the nuts and he's like going to beat his ass. But his character's awesome. I just think there's so many good characters in this movie. And when they move back into Rome, there's sequences of, you know, the new age wanting to move away from the monarchy of having an emperor that overrules everything and letting the Senate govern the people. And there's a little bit of, it does a good job of not like drowning you with political bullshit.
Yeah.
It's got its sequences of political bullshit, but for the most part, even though it takes us forever to get to Rome, we're still being fed action and interesting dialogue.
The pacing in this movie is phenomenal.
Yes.
This movie is almost 3 hours long. I think it's over 3 hours long, the cut we watched.
It might have been, because I'm telling you, that cut we watched, there was some stuff that was in it that I was like, I don't remember seeing.
It was like a little over 3 hours long. And I have no problem with long movies as long as I don't feel that length. And you do not with Gladiator. They keep you engaged and interested, and the time really does fly with it. And I think that was a really good strong suit of the way that it was, the way the plot flowed.
And it's not all because you just get flooded with action either.
Yeah, no.
I feel like there's a lot of good dialogue sequences.
Well, because it just makes you care about the characters immediately. Like, you want to see Maximus. Like I said, it's very easy to get behind revenge. So now anything Maximus does, you're like rooting for him.
Yeah, and Russell Crowe does such a good job of, I guess not him, he didn't write the character's lines, but the way he delivers all the lines and the way his character's written, he just has a lot of good things to say. You respect everything that he says, his perspective.
This movie's biggest strong suit, the best part about this movie, bar none, is the script.
Yes.
I fucking love the script on this thing. Dude, every line is a banger.
Yeah.
Every line delivered by every character.
A lot of mic drop moments.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and especially Maximus.
Yeah.
Maximus is the king of just like banger lines.
Not only does he beat people's ass in the arena and on the battlefield, he gives them verbal beatings.
Yeah.
Especially Commodus. There's not a single time that Commodus one-ups Maximus in this entire movie, and it's awesome.
And we love a humble king.
Yeah, we
love humble King Maximus, man. They offer him all of Rome, and he's like, I want to go play with my son.
Yeah, I just want to go back to my farm.
Can I please go home?
Yeah, Maximus is great, man. And, spoiler alert, by the end of the movie, he does get his revenge. He also dies, but that's what he wants.
Yeah.
And the way it comes full circle is so pleasing.
Like, him dying is also a win.
Yes.
Like, you're happy that he's getting his rest.
He gets to move on and see his family, and I love that closing dream sequence too.
Fantastic.
I know how earlier in the movie, whenever he thought he was dying and he gets picked up by the slave troop, and it's just got that weird look of him laying and showing the ground moving behind him. I remember you were like, man, that looks bad. There's something about it that is so like off kilter that I really like, and I think when they bring that back to that closing like death dream sequence, it's like really satisfying. And then the score, dude, Hans Zimmer. Anytime in this movie that it does the like epic, like rising, not battle music, but like the rising, like emotional music when they have like the hymns in the background, like the ooh, like it just gets my blood going, dude.
I will say score is still a aspect of film that like I don't hone in on for every movie. So I will say I actually didn't really notice a ton of the music in this one. None of the tracks really like jumped out at me, which for some movies that's a good thing. Sometimes that's the point. It's just like you want that ambience because you would notice it more if it was stark silence, but you don't want it to like overpower the scene. So I'm not saying it's a negative, but I will say that it didn't. The score isn't something that jumped out at me too hard.
Well, I think this movie does. In case anybody didn't know, I'm going to glaze this, but this movie has a really good like sound design too. Whenever there's physical action taking place, as far as when the Legionnaires first come in riding their chariots,
yes,
you can like feel the rumble of like the wooden wheels on the dirt. And anytime somebody is slashed or stabbed,
all the sword sound effects are great.
Yeah, like it sounds gruesome, and some of the choreography is pretty choppy as far as what you see. But then, like when you see the withdrawal of an impalement, like blood goes everywhere, and you can hear the like blood spraying, and it's really good. I love it all because that's how graphic this was when these guys fought in the gladiatorial arenas, forever ago. so barbaric. Like,
they are fucking dudes up in here.
Like you look at how we've evolved and like watching football, and it's like, it's helmet to helmet contact. Like that guy should go to jail. And it's like back in the day, we were like, I want to see Bob kill John with this sword, and like all Bob wins is he gets to fight again tomorrow. Like, but anyways,
I wanted to throw John's head at another guy, and then stab that guy with the head still in his chest, and then swing him around and beat another guy to death with him.
Well, Maximus doesn't quite do that, but he does have some really sick moves in this movie. And you get, like Brett said, like they save all the best lines for Maximus. You get the ever famous "Are you not entertained?"
Oh, yeah.
When he does like the scissor technique and decapitates the dude.
Is this not what you came here for?
Yeah, and he like launches the sword into the rich people's like booth up there.
It's fucking.
It's so awesome. What else is there to talk about here? We already kind of talked about the way the film's written. All the dialogue's awesome. And then production and direction, they spared no expense. Pulled out all the stops. Everybody looks great. All the sets look great. All the acting's great. Cinematography-wise, there's not as many big epic.
There's no shots that really stand out super.
I think one of the more impressive things that I enjoy cinematography wise with this movie is, like I told Brett, I don't think they built like a 1-for-1 like reconstruction of the Colosseum. That'd be crazy. But some of the bigger live action set pieces that they did do and just added in CGI in the back, like you can tell there's real people in the first, like, I don't know, 6 rows or whatever. And I really like the 1v1 fight sequence between him and Tigris. And a lot of that is like in the arena. It's a hot sunny day. You can see the heat coming off the ground. You get a lot of like low to the ground shot scenes there. And I think they did a really good job. I don't know how they did it. I guess they had stuntmen getting jumped on by the tigers. But, you see dudes actually getting, like, attacked by tigers.
Yeah, the tigers were sick.
There was no CGI tigers either. Like, they were just real tigers. Like, and I commend them for doing that, too. I mean, that could have went bad. Like, you were purposely, like, letting a tiger jump on you. A tiger. A fucking
Well, they're all
tiger.
trained. They're basically house cats.
Whatever. You think for a second, if Hex had the opportunity to jump on me and eat my head, she wouldn't. You're crazy.
I don't think she would.
I know she would. No, she would. But anyways, I love my cat. But so this movie's awesome.
Yeah, and circling back to the note on the cinematography, it's not really one that like needs any like crazy artsy shots, because the characters and their plights and like where the story is heading, you're already engaged. So just playing it straight, just like showing them on that journey. And I will say there's I do like a lot of the, just based on like where we're at, we're like in like a very deserty. Like you said, the blazing sun is like on all these sandy. I do like the lighting. I think the lighting design is really well. Especially,
the lighting works well with the cinematography.
Especially because a lot of the light might not have been like just like actual natural light. So that like getting it to look like that, just like natural sunlight hitting and like the dark shadows
is impressive.
Yeah.
Because if you're shooting something that is in the interior of a Colosseum, where realistically you probably would have some massive shadows from one point or the other, like, and you don't actually have something giant there to cast a shadow, you gotta have some tricks in the trade.
So a lot of the lighting looks really good.
And I think you're totally right about that's not really the driving force of this film.
No.
You get your big sweeping shots of like the opening war sequence in Germanian Forest. You get the first gladiatorial arena that they go to. I can't remember. I think that town was called Zakharan or Zacharus.
I'm not sure. It was definitely a Z.
Yeah, something of that nature. Zagabor. I don't know. But anyways.
Zanzibar.
That all looked real too. Like that was those were real like sand buildings.
Yeah. And the whole marketplace looked really that whole sequence very, like, again, just like with the like really well done extras.
Yes,
just like making this place feel real and lived in.
And that's what Ridley Scott does, man. Like the Alien franchise, all the movies that he made, like they just, like that is what a future ship would look like, in my opinion. Like that's just what I think of. But anyways, I'll stop going head over heels about this movie and just go ahead and give my final rating. This is going to end up being my first ever 10 out of 10.
You know that for a fact?
Yeah.
You gave the Mario movie a 10, didn't you? I feel like you definitely gave Mario a 10 because I thought it was kind of crazy that it was that high.
Okay, my second ever 10 out of 10.
I distinctly remember. I know for a fact Mario for you was either a 9 or a 10.
No, I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure it was a 10.
Damn, I'm a fucking idiot. But anyways, my second ever 10 out of 10 on the Real Rendezvous podcast is this movie. I told Brett, prior to us watching this movie, that it was one that I really shouldn't be doing because, I just knew I'd glaze it the whole time, give it a 10 out of 10. But that's okay. Sometimes, like Brett said, sometimes that's, what we're here for, is just talk about what we love. So
I'm going to touch on, because I don't think Hunter has any, so I will touch on my only 2 negatives with this film, because I do have 2.
He's right, I don't have any.
I do have 2 negatives with this film, but I will say one of them is just like a product of the time. They just weren't really doing things at this time that they do them now, and my sensibilities of like what I've seen it done like now, it's kind of, I think, is kind of like hurt older movies in this way. But the action in this movie is not bad. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's just like that very choppy 2000s action editing.
And you are right about that. Yeah.
On every hit, it's a cut. You can really barely tell what's going on. It's not very like super choreographed in the way it is now. But like I said, that's just how movies were in the 2000s. John Wick did for action what Spider-Verse did for animation. John Wick fundamentally changed the way action is done in movies.
It changed the standard for what the general audience expects.
Yeah.
When you see fight sequences.
And now, like even in the lowest budget or like bottom of the totem pole action movies, you have that very John Wick-esque, like highly choreographed, hold on to those shots. Very dance-like action that like really keeps you engaged. Gladiator doesn't really have that, and I will say, and I will also say, like even outside of like sensibilities and standards changing, I do think it's still a little too choppy, like even for the time. Mm-hmm. Like it gave me very Liam Neeson hopping a fence vibes.
Yeah, what is it, like 12 cuts?
Like fucking 12 cuts in like 2 seconds hopping over a fence, and I do think it takes away a little bit from that aspect of the movie, because it's gladiators. It's like gladiator fights, and you can't really tell what's going on. You don't really get a chance to let that gladiator fighting shine. There's a few segments where it does, like the Legionnaire reenactment. That whole sequence is phenomenal with the chariots. I think the editing works pretty well in that regard, because it is very, like, it would be very chaotic. There's like 6 chariots. They're all shooting arrows at you. You're trying to survive. Mm-hmm. I think that makes a lot of sense. But even in like the one-on-one, I just feel like it's just a little too choppy for me with the action, and maybe a little too loose with it.
See, I always tell Brett, well, not always tell Brett, but I told Brett that I've always like held that 1v1 fight between Maximus and Tigris as like one of my favorite movies.
Did it? We didn't really talk about it too in depth. Did it hold up the way it did in your head?
Yeah. Now, like you said, though, it's just like a product of like we've been spoiled since then with everything else. So I would like to. I would like to have seen it like be a more well choreographed fight. I do think the fight is choreographed, and it's not as choppy as previous fight sequences. Like I can still tell the moves. Like in my mind, as a like young kid, I can always remember thinking like the way he catches him with the blunt end of that shield across the nose.
That is sick.
That would hurt so fucking bad. And then he stabs him in the toe, and like just. I know there, like we just said, there's not a lot of like really great cinematography, but Tigris has this like fucking sick like face mask, and it's all like chromed out. And whenever he leans over,
I did really like the blood.
The blood comes out of the mouth of the face mask.
That was really sick.
I want that as a still. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean?
No, that was nice. Like it's not too big a deal. It did not detract like heavily at all. It didn't affect my score but it is something that I visibly noticed and did comment on.
You wonder
while
how
we were watching it.
could it have really been?
Yeah, right.
You know?
Like, because like if that action was, you know, a little closer to how we do action nowadays, I think it would have like sent it over the moon.
Right. And me and Brett talked, you know, as far as movies that really don't need a sequel, this is up there on the list, but that is something that they can definitely improve upon with Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
We're expecting better action.
Yes,
you know?
yes, absolutely.
So,
and then my other negative is, and I knew they were gonna, but I was just really hoping they wouldn't.
yeah.
He spends the whole movie, his entire reason that he is still alive, the entire reason he hasn't just consigned himself to death, is to avenge his wife and son who were murdered by this man. And also, on top of that being his only motivation for what he's doing, the entire rest of the movie, he has vehemently hated this bitch.
Yeah.
Every time she's spoken to him, he's been like, fuck off, I don't like you. Even before, like, she was aiding and abetting in his suffering. Like, even when she was just some regular lady to him, he, like, did not want anything to do with her. And then just, like, he just forgets about that. Oh, not only have I forgotten about my wife who died, like, a year ago, I also apparently have forgotten that, like, 2 days ago I told you to kill yourself. and he like, they re-sparked that romance for one final kiss before his, like, big last stand. I thought it was stupid. Not only do I not think he would do that from everything else we've shown about his characterization, I don't think she fucking deserves it. He should hate her for the rest of her life.
I feel like it was put in the movie for the exact reason that you said, because it just felt like this was at the point in time where if you had an action movie,
your action guy had to kiss a pretty lady.
You had to have a romantic counterpart, you know?
Yeah.
But with that said, I don't get so torqued up about it because there was a previous romantic relationship established prior to, and then also she turned, not that she was a villain, you know, per se, but she went out of her way and risked a lot to try and help him succeed. And
as she should. She owes it to him.
I almost, and I'm not making excuses for it, I'm just saying it almost could have been interpreted as like a thank you. This is what I appreciate what everything that went on.
That is fair.
You know, I know you want the Maximus a hip thrust, but you're just going to get the kiss. So.
That is, you know what? I didn't think about it like that. I do appreciate that. I think that does make me see it in a little bit of a different light. I was also going to say I do appreciate also that they don't harp on it too long. It is just that one kiss. It is just that one moment. But like, because I was like dreading it, because I was like the whole movie, I was like, I know they're gonna. I really hope they don't. And then they did. I was like, they fucking, like, come on. It's the one thing. If you hadn't done that, it would have been perfect.
I agree.
But I do really like your explanation for it, though. I do. That makes me, that recontextualizes it for me a little bit.
Like I said, I 100% agree with you, because that, like, Maximus is like the Master Chief. Like,
yeah, right.
He doesn't need a romantic lead. He doesn't need this other shit. Like,
and I don't feel like he would want it. Like, his entire reason for being is to avenge his wife and kid, who he loves so much. He was going to give up ultimate power. Yeah. Just to spend his life with them. And then he's just like, well, I mean, if I can't kiss her.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't know how much he actually meant it to be romantic.
But and you saying that definitely, like,
I feel
turns the wheels a little bit.
I feel like they could have, if that was the way they wanted to interpret it, though, they could have done a little more to make it to where we as the audience knew.
Maybe if he, like, kissed her on the forehead, I think I would have liked it a little more.
Or just a big embrace.
Yeah.
You know, a big heartfelt, like some tears.
Or if he would have kissed her and then just said thank you.
Yeah.
You know? Not that I, like, need everything, like, spelled out for me, but just to show, like, and we know, guys, he doesn't, it's still...
And we know Russell Crowe could have delivered, like, the sickest thank you.
Yeah, right.
Like, of all time, you know?
But your explanation, definitely, I really like it, and it slightly recontextualizes it for me, but then it's also, like, he does that, and then he dies, and he has to, like... the funny thought of, like, him going back to the afterlife, and his wife is just, like...
tapping her foot. You think I didn't see that?
You know, we fucking saw that.
Yeah. You know, and something I want to jump back to, again, about Russell Crowe. when he finds his wife and son murdered.
his performance is phenomenal.
And I told Brett as we were watching this, ever since becoming a father, like I'm like so much more like I can't watch these kind of things.
Dude, I love in movies when like strong emotions are happening and they let the character like look like shit during it.
Dude, he does. He's like got snot running down
nose, like fucking saw. I love it. It makes it feel so real and so visceral.
You can tell he's a complete mess. And I know like the vibe I get from his performance there is he would have ended his life.
Oh yeah.
Had he not been so exhausted from trying to get home.
Yeah.
Because he got there quick. Like the embers were fresh from where they burned the house. You know? And like I said, I know he would have.
No, he absolutely would have.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that just goes back to like just Russell Crowe and everyone's performance in this movie is so fucking good. And with such a good script behind them, like it's just kind of like the perfect storm.
I looked it up after me and Brett watched the movie because Brett was like, this movie's awesome. Like, did it not win like any awards? And I was like, I don't really know if it did.
It won all of the awards.
It literally. Let me find it here. Now I can't find it. I'm almost positive though. It was nominated for like 8 Oscars and won 5, including Best Picture.
Yeah, and had I been alive in 2000. And cared about the Oscars, I would have said absolutely it deserves it.
Yeah, I can't. Okay, here. Awards. Won 5 Oscars. It was the Best Picture winner. Best in Russell Crowe is our Oscar-winning leading actor, Russell Crowe.
As he should.
Best costume design, as she should. Janty Yates. I guess that could be a guy. I don't know. No, it's a girl. Best sound design, as we said, the sound design was peak. Best visual effects.
It won best visual effects?
Yes. Best visual
maybe
effects.
for green screening, like extending the sets, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, this movie ruled, man. Like, it like I said, it was nominated for 12 total Oscars and won 5. So, clean sweep of Oscars.
Yeah.
But yeah, hard 10 out of 10 for me.
Super deserving.
Hard 10 out of 10 for me.
It's just a great movie. This is one that I have chosen to sleep on for this long. I will admit that I've known about it and I've known that people liked it. I was not aware of its like true status in the
I guess I wasn't either.
In the zeitgeist.
I was always just telling you how great it was until we looked at what it won.
Like, everyone thought it was great, but it was one that I just like. I didn't think I wouldn't like it, but it's just not one that I was like, I need to sit down and watch Gladiator. Mm-hmm. And I actually had full intentions of going to see Gladiator 2 without having watched this one first because I thought it would be. I didn't think it was that important. And I am so glad that has been done away with, and I'm so glad that I got to sit down and watch it because it's a great fucking movie. Yeah. It deserved all of those Oscars. It deserves all the praise it gets. And like I was telling Hunter, I think retroactively I'm going to like Gladiator 2 less now than had I not watched this one first because there's just no fucking chance Gladiator 2 even remotely comes close to this one.
Yeah, huge shoes to fill.
Enormous shoes to fill. The only place I think it might get a leg up, like we said, is that action sensibilities have changed, and I think it'll look slicker, but I do not think the script or the story is going to even remotely reach this level. But I'm always happy to be proven wrong. And I do like that it is a direct continuation. Mm-hmm. The little boy, Lucius, in Gladiator is the main character of Gladiator 2.
Right.
I do enjoy that.
Paul Mescal, from all I know about the guy, never seen any of the movies he's been in. I have
no fucking idea who he is.
But he's always like the lead.
He looks cool in the trailers.
Well, he's always the lead guy in all of these like indie art house movies that people just love. So the guy apparently has some acting chops. So, I'm looking forward to watching
it. And also, tell me your name again, who played, I don't actually know her character's name either. The sister.
Lucilla.
Yes.
She was played by Connie Nielsen.
Dude, she does not look like she's aged a fucking day.
I know, man. Yeah, that's a good point.
She's coming back for Gladiator 2. I saw a still of her the other day. I was like, that is exactly what she looked like in Gladiator.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So get her skincare routine. Anyone who's interested in anti-aging.
Yeah, she's like
put her up there with Paul Rudd and Lucy Liu.
Yeah. So what are you going to give it, Brett?
My final score for Gladiator is going to be a 9.5. It's very close to a 10. And I mean, I guess technically there's not. I don't have like a really good reason that it's not. I just don't feel like I'm gonna get it all the way up there.
Well, I feel like you justify. I mean, you talked about the things that are, in my opinion, true issues with the movie, but they're not glaring, you know.
Yeah. So like I said, it only knocks at that half point.
Yeah.
It is still a fantastic movie that I am so glad that I actually took the time to watch.
Yeah, I'm glad. Usually when I throw one of these old movies, Hunter
always hits me with bangers.
Yeah, I'm glad you really connected with this one.
I really did. No, I was hooked like the second it started. I saw his fit. And I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, you saw the fit.
And it only got better from there.
And then they just like give him fire lines too. He's like, what's the one he says? What we do in life echoes in eternity.
Yes.
Then after that, he's like, oh my word, unleash hell. You know,
it's fucking.
Who doesn't want to go to war with Maximus?
I would die for him.
I would.
I would die for Maximus. I'd die for Russell Crowe.
The man, dude.
And that's another reason that Gladiator 2 will not be as good, because it will not have Russell Crowe in it.
No Russell Crowe. Sad.
I hope we get a flashback or something. I hope he's there in like some capacity.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, Gladiator 1, fantastic movie. Cannot believe I slept on it for so long.
No.
My apologies to Gladiator.
We'll let it slide.
I was not familiar with your game.
The Shaq meme. Well, I'm glad that I got to experience it with you for your first viewing, because that is one of my favorites, one of my probably top 3 movies. So, but that's pretty much it for our review of Gladiator. Get out there and see Gladiator 2.
Yes.
Holler back at us.
Go see Gladiator 2 in theaters. If you haven't seen Gladiator 1, watch it first.
I'm sure we're going to have some opinions about Gladiator 2 on our next podcast.
Yes, we will definitely chat about Gladiator 2 once we catch that.
Yeah, be ready to give us some of your opinions. We want to hear them.
Yes, always. We love the engagement. Please comment. Please like. Tell us what you thought of Gladiator. If you see Gladiator 2, tell us what you think of Gladiator 2 in the comments of this video. Mm-hmm. Give us a little taste of what's to come.
Do some comparing and contrasting. We're ready for it.
Yeah.
But
as always, love you guys. We're glad to be back. Always good to hop back in the saddle.
Yep. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.